back to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you guys are here. I wanted to sit down and film this video just to kind of give you guys a life update, a fitness update, that kind of thing, because I've had a lot of exciting changes happen in the last month or so that have been up and coming for even longer than that, probably in the last year, because of changes that I've made and shifts that I've made in my life. So I just wanted to kind of give this update and share with you guys where I'm at right now and how I've gotten here. Yeah, so let's get into it. So this past month I transitioned in my work. So I have been a full-time registered nurse in labor and delivery for 5.5, going on 6 years now. I worked night shift for several years, and then I finally got a position on day shift. And I usually do 3 to 4 shifts per week at the hospital, and I really enjoy what I do. It's so special to be part of that time in a family's life and a woman's life, to bring these little miracles into the world. It's incredible to be a part of that with people. So I love so many things about that job. But over the last couple of years, where I started doing my personal training and fitness coaching and all that kind of stuff, I found just a really strong passion for that too. So I was doing both for a really long time, for a couple of years, and we have a visitor that wants to come and say hi. Say hello, Lenny. Oh, so I dog hair. So I started doing my fitness coaching and training, and I loved it, and I wanted to do more and more of it, but I only had so much time, right? Because I'm working 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts, usually 13-hour shifts. That takes a lot of time and then a lot of energy out of my life. So when it came to focusing on my training and coaching, I just didn't have the energy that I wanted to devote to that. So I knew that I needed to make a change, but I was just afraid, because I feel like so many times we get into this, going through the motions, and we get settled into somewhere where we're comfortable just because it's easier to kind of do the same thing that we've always done instead of mixing things up and making changes, right? So I was like, this job is safe, it's comfortable, I'm really settled into it because I know what I'm doing, but at the same time I just knew that I wasn't fully fulfilled there, and that I wasn't giving my passion of training and coaching the time and the energy that I wanted to put into that. So I started looking into personal training at different gyms, and I hit some roadblocks because I was still working full-time at the hospital. So that made it more difficult for me to get a job at the gym that I wanted to. So then I was like, well, shoot, what do I do? So I kind of gave up for a little bit because we meet resistance, and we're like, well, maybe that's not what I should do. So I backed away from that idea for a little while, and then it just kept coming up and kept coming up, and I was just feeling this. It came to the point where, the feeling and the struggle of not changing is worse than the fear of the change itself. So I hit that point where I was like, Morgan, you've got to do something. So I just knew that I needed to make a change. So I finally went and I talked to my manager. I sat down with her, and we worked out a plan for me to be part-time at the hospital. So I just worked 1 day a week there. And I am just so happy that I did that. It was so difficult. It's almost like going to your parents almost, because she's been my manager for 5 years, so it's almost like going to your parent and coming to them with a problem, and I was crying, and it was just a really emotional thing because I was making such a big change. But as soon as I did that, I just felt so much relief. It was unreal, the change that I felt after finally committing to making that change and making that decision, because I want to stay there and be able to do what I love with helping to bring babies into this world, because it's an awesome job, but the stress of it and the time and energy that it was taking out of me was just off balance for what I wanted to do. outside of working at the hospital. So this has been like the perfect change for me, the perfect balance. So I've started working at my awesome gym, Bullpit Fitness Center. I work there a few nights a week, helping people get signed up and showing them around, and just hanging out and helping people out as they need my help. So I love that, because I literally just it's the most awesome thing to be able to just like go and be at the gym where I love to be and help people out, get to know people a little bit better. And it has helped me like meet a lot more people at my gym, because most of the time when I go in a train, it's like headphones in, head down, I'm there to do work. So this has let me like meet a lot more people and get to know them at the gym. So that's been awesome as well. And I've just had a lot more time and energy to devote to my coaching. Because I love the girls that I have and that I coach, and I've always like given the most effort as I could to them, and it ran me down a lot, because I was like spending so much time, like all my free time in that. So now that I have more time to devote to it, it's just such a better balance that I have. And another thing that I wanted to talk about that's really exciting is a big part of why I wanted to make that change. It wasn't the main deciding factor, but it was definitely something that influenced my decision too. And that is that I have decided to do a bikini bodybuilding competition. So that's something that I have been thinking about for a really, really long time. And I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about this, especially because I just feel a really big responsibility to share exactly where I'm coming from and why I've decided to do this. Because if you have followed along my journey at all or watched my other videos, you know that I did deal with an eating disorder in the past. So 10 years ago is when I was struggling with that the most. So I went through that, and if you want to watch my very first YouTube video, I kind of go into details about how I went through that and came out of it and things like that, if you're interested in watching more about that. So I knew that having a history of dealing with things like that, I knew that I had to be very, very careful and be very sure that mentally, physically, emotionally, that I was in a good place to be able to make the decision to do this, to do a bodybuilding competition, because it does put a really big toll on your body, on your mental health sometimes. So I knew that I had to be in a really good place, in a really good relationship with my body, in a really good relationship with food, with exercise, and I feel really confident that I am, because I went through several years recovering from my eating disorder, and then I have had so many years, probably like 5 or 6 years of just being like really content, having a great relationship with food. I ate intuitively, I didn't worry about food, I enjoyed it, I exercised because I love it, and I just have been in a really good place for a really long time. And I have done the work to sort through my emotions and heal from the aftermath of that eating disorder, so to where I feel like I'm even stronger, honestly, than I was before I went through all that, and I have more perspective than I had before. So I feel like I'm just in a really good place. And how it kind of came about, I've put a lot of thought into whether or not I would want to do a competition for probably a couple years, honestly, because I followed along with some girls who have competed and watched their journeys. And I am like a competitor at heart, y'all. Like, I love to go out and challenge myself, work hard, give it my all. I was in sports in high school and competed really hard with things like that. So that was something that I was kind of missing in my life for the last several years. And I just felt like I was kind of like floating along, taking it easy, nothing was super challenging. And I was just like hungry for a challenge, and kind of sitting in that chill place of, you know, not worrying about anything and not really, I pushed myself in the gym, but it was just very comfortable for me. And I just got to the point where I was like, I really want to push myself harder and have a goal to work towards, a goal to achieve. So that's when I really started thinking about competing. So in the last year or so last May, I decided to hire a coach, and we worked together. I started tracking macros. I hadn't tracked food consistently in a really long time. I just ate intuitively. So for the first time, I was consistently tracking macros, and we worked together for a few months and just kind of like tightened things up and saw how I felt and challenged my body a little bit. And then for several months, I guess for probably 4 months I have been increasing food and putting in the work in the gym to grow lean muscle, with the goal in mind that I would be competing this year. So I've been planning for this for almost a year now, honestly, that this was my intention with my nutrition and my workouts, that I had that goal in mind. So now we're at the point. Last week, my coach and I decided to go ahead and start moving towards getting me ready for a competition. So we decreased my food intake just a little bit, and we're kind of consistently and very gradually doing that to make sure we do that in a really healthy and safe way. I trust my coach so much, and that's so important to have somebody guiding me through this that I really do trust. So we're gradually decreasing things, and I'm feeling really good. I'm super excited just to like push and grind and challenge myself. So we don't have a specific timeline yet. We're just gonna kind of see how my body responds, but I'm super excited to get into this, and I feel really good about it. Like, if I had any doubt at all, I would not do this, but I know that I'm mentally and emotionally in a really good place. And I know that I can make sure that it's a healthy thing for me as I go along. Yes, it's a very extreme sport, especially towards the end, but I feel prepared for that. And that's something really important to talk about too, because I think sometimes people think about doing a competition, a bodybuilding competition, and for multiple reasons, but sometimes their reasoning cannot be exactly what it should be. So sometimes people will think, oh, I'm not happy with my body, so I'm going to do a competition so that I can lean out and get the body that I want. And that's really not a good reason to do a competition, because this is the extreme. This is not, your general lifestyle stuff. So I'm really happy where my body is right now. Like, I love how strong I feel, the curves that I have. Like, I just feel really good in my body. And I didn't create this goal because I wasn't happy with where my body was. That's not it at all. And I think also sometimes people will do that to like get into healthier eating habits and things like that. And that's not necessarily the best reason either, because you want to have a really good relationship with food and have a lot of healthy habits in place to be able to do a competition prep in a healthy way. And this is all coming from me as a first timer with all of this, but I've studied and looked into a lot of it just to make sure I know what I'm getting into, So I think that's the most important thing, is just knowing that you need to be in a really good place starting this mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I feel like I have prepared as much as I can, and I feel really good about it. So I'm excited. I'm super excited for this challenge and this journey coming up. And I would really love to share this with you guys on YouTube and social media in general, just like on Instagram, just to kind of keep you guys up to date and let you follow along with my journey. With that being said, I don't want this to be something where you guys watching want to like mimic what I'm doing just for general lifestyle reasons, like to get in better shape. I might be able to share a lot of good tips and tricks when it comes to nutrition and working out, and kind of share my challenges and motivate you to have that same discipline and that same work ethic, but not the specifics of the level of leanness that you want to attain, because it's a different level and a different goal to pursue a bodybuilding competition. So I just really wanted to make sure I cover that with you guys because I think that's so important. But I would love for you to let me know in the comments below if you would like to follow along with this journey that I'm going on. I think it would be cool in general, even if nobody watches, just to have this documented for myself because I'm super excited to see the changes that happen and to challenge myself. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you're excited about seeing more of this, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with anybody who you think might be interested in following along as well. That's basically what I wanted to share with you guys. I'm super excited about the changes that have happened in the last year or so, and I really feel like I'm finally getting on the path and creating the path that feels right to me, because I went for a long time where I wasn't sure that, you know, I was following along the right path for myself. So I will see you guys in the next video because I'm really excited to share my journey with you guys. So follow along if you're interested. Let me know if you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.